Welcome to this week's episode of the Punk Popcast. Today we're going to talk about one-hit wonders. Welcome to another episode of the Punk Popcast. Today, like I said, we're going to be talking about one-hit wonders. Now, for me, Jason, this was a tough one because I've never, especially when I was in the throes of pop punk, right? I was not listening to the radio. I had my albums that are not my albums. They were not albums. They were mixed CDs. They were all burned. Every single one of them. I'm the first with that I would listen to, and it was all based off music that I gotten as recommendations from friends that I found just cruising Kazaa and Napster before that. I did not find music on the radio. I didn't know what was popular. I was shocked, Jason, when I found out that Simple Plan and Good Charlotte were played on the radio. Like, absolutely just floored by that. I was like, you guys know these bands? Like, yeah, dude, like everybody knows them. But yeah, this was tough for me. In fact, one of these tracks is a song that I do not like, but I felt like we couldn't leave it off just because it was so huge.
Oh, you're going to upset people.
Hits go. Oh, I'm going to upset a lot of people. I am well aware of this. But Jason, I let us off last episode. Why don't you go ahead and get us started this week?
Let's start the fun right away. Let's go with Take It Off by the Donnas, who I absolutely love.
I love this song.
I love the Donnas so much.
Me too.
For a variety of reasons. And just before I really get into the song, I love the fact, and my wife hates when I say this, that I married a girl who probably could have been in the Donnas based on attitude, the music she liked, how she dressed. Like, I lucked into that situation.
You did. That's
awesome. I love this song. I love this video. I had a Donnas poster on my wall because I was a sad young man.
That's so funny.
But how cool was it to hear a girl band sing a song like they were a dude band? Like
rock that hard?
I mean, lyrically, like.
Well, yeah, that too. But yeah, for me, it was just like how hard they rocked. And you know, it's funny because I didn't realize that this song was actually the Donnas because I think this is on Grind, right?
It is on. This is on Grind, and then It's Too Bad About Your Girl.
That's the one. That's the one I was thinking. Yeah. But I didn't actually know who the Donnas were until I was married. My wife was like, "Oh, you don't like this band?" I was like, "Yeah, I do," and I didn't even know it. That's awesome.
So this was played a lot on MTV, and I think outside of one of my picks, this song and one of my other picks, they're both based on how often they were played on MTV that I have them as a one-hit wonder. I mean, that chorus is pure hair metal. Go on and take it off. You got to shake it off, baby, for me. Come on and break me off because I get what I want and I like what I see.
I know. This is one of those songs that like I would, and you know, I was pretty free and loose with the stuff that I kept like on in the car growing up. Like if my mom were to get in the car with me and go for a ride, you know, wherever we're going, like, and I happen to be driving, but this is not one that I was going to keep on. It's like, what are you listening? Oh, sorry. Just pull that.
I can understand that. I can understand that wholeheartedly.
That's one of the things that makes it so great.
It's a little dirty and it's a little upfront about its dirtiness. You know, I can't think of too many songs that have a line that says "Stop staring at my D cup." So
I know, it's so good.
But that's what makes the Donnas so great. They play they play the music for the non-popular girl in high school.
Yeah, even though I bet they were popular though. Like I'd put money on that. But no, like, so I was actually really excited when you put this song on the list because, like you said, I love it so much, and this was my gateway into my introduction to the Donnas. So, like, my wife was like, "Oh, you like this one? You like another one?" She played another one. I can't remember what it was at the moment, but like being like, "Yeah, this is awesome," and then it was just like all downhill from there. With that, I like fell in love with this band, and this was, like I said, the gateway to that, and everything about it is so good. that
It is fantastic.
it shouldn't be like, it's almost like it shouldn't be that good, but they just like took the top off and no pun intended, and rolled with it. Anyway, with that, let's move on, Jason. Okay.
All right.
Literally, like, I'm not kidding you. I did not mean to nail that pun as well as I did. I'm just gonna get this one out of the way.
Oh boy.
This is a song called "The Middle" by Jimmy Eat World. Now, I myself am not a big Jimmy Eat World fan, even though just before we came on the air, Jason and I were talking about how there was a Jimmy Eat World song. It was the very first one I learned on the guitar, simply so I could play it for a girl. Like, that's it. I thought it was a good song. But at the same time, the thing that drove me crazy about this song was it was everywhere all the time. I didn't know who Jimmy Eat World was until this song came out. I'm sure a lot of people are the same way. That like, it was overplayed. It was, like I said, everywhere, to the point that I had a friend riding down the street on his bike playing it on his acoustic guitar. Like, Jason, literally everywhere.
Hold on. He was riding his bicycle and playing the acoustic guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
Jesus, leave some women for the rest of us, dude, okay?
He needed it, trust me. but no, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was really cool. He was student body president at one point, right? Like, he was a cool guy, but as far as like that area, like, I wasn't worried. So no, it was literally Jason every freaking where. I couldn't go to the store and not hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I couldn't go to the store and not hear it. I'd go to the grocery store for lunch to hit up the deli, and it's playing as I walk in. I'm just like, just freaking turn it off. Sick of it.
There's a Muzak version in the elevator.
Oh my gosh, probably. I bet there was. I wouldn't be surprised. Even at my school, they're just like, we're just gonna put this on for the kids. Like, no, sick of it.
This was a big crossover hit.
It was. It really was. And I don't know if that upset me or just the fact that I couldn't escape it, and has actually ruined Jimmy Eat World for me.
And they're all over Van Wilder with Sugar Cult. So.
Yeah. It's true.
It's such an accessible song. I mean, lyrically, yeah, the chorus is, it just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle, but anyone could be in the middle based on the lyrics of the song. And I think that's why it crossed over so hard. And for the record, don't at me on Twitter about this.
Yeah, it's all me. Jason had nothing to do with this. This is all me. I'll own it. Don't worry. But
it's not a song I go out of my way to listen to because of how much it was played, but I always think it's a great song because.
So there are two songs that were played so much that I still cannot listen to. This one is one, and the other is "The Reason" by Hoobastank. And in fact, "The Reason" came on while I was in the car today, Jason. Yeah, it did. Very upset about it, but because that's not even close to their best song. Not to say Hoobastank's great, but they have way better songs than that. But man.
It's so funny. This is for a future episode. But you mentioned Hoobastank, and I was so mad when Hoobastank was getting airtime over one of my favorite bands, who we will be talking about at another point. Yeah. That I had a deep dislike of Hoobastank for a solid 6 months before I even actually listened to him.
So funny. But no, so yeah, like I said, this song was enormous that I felt like we couldn't avoid it. We couldn't leave it out. But I can't stand it. I still don't like Jimmy World to this day because of it. Can't do it. So
I love everything about this. I mean, I think this is tremendous. So
we're all about content here, right? That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's
we're
content.
all about content. Oh my gosh. That's
all right, Jason. What do you have next for us?
I don't even know anymore. We're far more looser when it's late at night and we record.
I know. We got one under and warmed up.
I'll go with Flavor of the Week by American Hi-Fi.
Okay.
And I hate calling them a one-hit wonder because they had some really good songs, but I mean, this song was huge when it came out in 2001. I mean, it was everywhere. And it's such a great, it is the song for like nice guy syndrome, white knight syndrome, whatever you want to call it. Cause he's singing about like a guy who has a girlfriend who's kind of like a piece of crap. Like he cares way more about being stoned, about playing Nintendo, and she's doing his clothes. She's washing them for her. He's got posters of hot chicks on his wall. He's just a toxic dude, and it's a super catchy song. And I think it's still aged really well. I think it's still a very relatable song. Maybe if I was 16 years old now, I wouldn't think that way, but I was 16 years old then, and I thought that way.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a really good, catchy song, and it does hold up. And honestly, I thought the rest of the album was pretty good too. My wife still listens to it to this day.
I
like
love
on the regular. I'll go downstairs and she's cleaning while this album is on.
I love Another Perfect Day. That's a great song. Great video with Patton Oswalt in it too.
Oh, nice.
He's dressed up as a hot dog handing out flyers and he's having a crap day. Like it's great. And they had some good songs on their second album too. It's just that this song was so big. And I don't know who directed the video for this song, but huge nod to them for parodying Heavy Metal Parking Lot, which is a 15-minute documentary from the 1980s at a Judas Priest concert.
Oh, that's funny.
You got to watch it at least once. It's it's hilarious for a lot of wrong reasons. But yeah, great song, super catchy. I mean, it's obvious why this was a big song for them and why it got tons of airplay on MTV.
Well, I feel like it's the same thing as The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, is that the melody is really accessible, right? It's easy to bring it in. The tone of the lyrics, like I honestly think it's one of those songs where people sang through 5 or 6 times before they realized what the song was actually about, even though it's like still like right there in your face, right? But it's really catchy. It's very poppy.
Yes.
And like I said, super accessible. And it's one of those songs that's easy for everybody to catch on to. And I think that's why it was so widely accepted and everybody wrapped their arms around it, because it's just easy to get into. And The Middle was the same way. It was really accessible. It just never did it for me because it was so overplayed. And I don't feel like this one was as overplayed, but it was enormous. It was really, really big.
It also doesn't hurt that the singer for American Hi-Fi was also the drummer in Letters to Cleo, which was a big 90s pop rock band, and he ended up playing drums for Miley Cyrus on tour as well. Like, he's just a talented dude. So he knows pop rock inside and out as a musician and songwriter.
Yeah, there you go. That'll do it. And especially somebody like that is going to have connections. That'll help. That'll help to get the track out there. But let's go ahead and let's take a break. And when we get back, I have 2 tracks. Jason has one that we'll get into.
The Untitled Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the Untitled Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
9+ Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. Weekly episodes for the entire baseball family where we talk all baseball all the time. Available on all your favorite podcast apps and on YouTube. Come join our baseball family where we do baseball together.
Welcome back to the Punk Popcast. Today we're talking about one-hit wonders. I have 2 tracks left. Jason has 1, so I'm going to lead us off into this next segment. And I'm going to talk about a song that is like Honestly, Jason, I love it. But it is so different from most songs that I like, not only in this genre, but like generally speaking, because it is incredibly poppy. This song is Check Yes Juliet by We the Kings. Um, it is so catchy. Like very poppy. And I think one of the things I like about it is one of my favorite bands is The Academy Is.
Okay.
And it kind of feels a little bit like that. Like I think the first time I heard the song, it took me back to The Academy Is. But like I don't know. It's just one of those songs that really brought me in, and I didn't hear it enough. I didn't hear it as much as I wanted to. So every time I hear it and did hear it when it was popular, it was one of those songs that I was like really looking forward to. And it was it actually popped up on, there was this another streaming like Wannabe Pandora app that used to be on my Xbox like 15 years ago. And, and that's actually where I discovered the song was on that app. I was trying to find the bands that I liked within that app, but they're like, "Oh, you like the Used? We don't have the Used, but we have these bands." It's pretty much what it was. And this is one of the ones that came up because it was a new song and it was actually being popular, and I really like it a lot.
So full disclosure, I never listened to this song before until this episode.
Yeah.
Because this was at a time when it was getting too poppy for me.
Way poppy. Yeah. That's what I'm
and
saying.
It just pushed me further into metalcore. Which I was really into at that time. Still am to some degree. But in listening to this song and researching for this album, researching for this episode and prepping for this episode, I instantly loved this song. Super catchy. I like the lyrics. Definitely takes you back to a younger time in life. Maybe a little more carefree. But man, it is good. It is some good stuff.
It is. It's another one of those really easy listens. And I think actually, like when you said takes you back to a younger time, I think part of it is that it takes me to when I was listening to All American Rejects a lot. Like I want to say it was like the beginning of my senior year. I was listening to a lot of Yellow Card, but if I wasn't listening to Yellow Card, it was All American Rejects because the girl I was dating at the time, that's what she was really into. And so it kind of has that same feel, and I think that's what it is. It takes you back to a more carefree time because it makes you feel younger. And it might be the chorus because I don't run anymore, but the chorus says, "Run, baby, run, don't ever look back." Like, I don't know if that's why or the way that it's sung and delivered, but it does definitely like take you back to a younger time. Right?
To me, it's got like a young love kind of feel to it, like your first love, kind of like that whole us against the world feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's Check Yes Juliet, that it's, I don't want to say it's about a forbidden love because I don't think it is. I'm like a super big Shakespeare nerd, by the way.
I didn't want to make that conclusion. I just assumed Juliet.
I don't think that's the Juliet, but I wonder if that's why they chose the name. For, like you said, young love, not necessarily forbidden or star-crossed lovers, whatever. But I think that's where the name Juliet comes from. I doubt that it's actually about a girl named Juliet.
I don't know. Dear Maria, Count Me In is about a girl named Maria. So,
well, yeah, but I don't. My first thought was that was not that it was about a girl or about West Side Story. So I don't know. Just my opinion with this one. But no, great song. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. It's going to be on the playlist. There'll be a link down in the description for you. What do you got next for us, Jason?
Man. Okay, I'm wrapping up my list tonight with a song I think everyone at this point knows. My God, Vice did a 15 years later retrospective on this song.
Oh, really?
With the people behind the movie, the people behind the band, the songwriters. I'm going with Scotty Doesn't Know by Lustra. This song's just I mean, one, I think of Matt Damon when I hear this song because of him showing up in Eurotrip to lip sync it as a punk guy. Which, fun fact, the shirt he's wearing was one of the band member shirts because the band Lustra is who backs him in the scene.
Oh, that's funny.
but he walked out wearing the guy's shirt, and the guy never saw the shirt again. So in the retrospective on Vice, he's like, I loved that shirt, and Matt Damon just left with it.
No one will believe you.
Scotty deserved way better than Fiona after listening to this song.
Yes, he did. He did. Poor Scotty.
Well, Scotty
He
doesn't
got.
know.
Yeah. But we do have to address something with this song, Jason. That this was hotly contested leading up to like the minute almost that we pushed record for this episode.
I didn't think it was contested, but apparently you did.
I was adamant, Jason. I was adamant that this song was on Out Cold. As it turns out, it's not. It's a different song called Making Money by Handsome Devil that has the exact same intro, which is great because it's very catchy. It's very good. And the song itself is very good, but I don't know anything about the song Making Money by Handsome Devil because I've never actually listened to it besides just the intro, because there's only like 5 seconds of the song in Out Cold. And that's all I had heard of a song similar to this up to this point. And this is my very first experience with Scotty Doesn't Know by Lustra, other than being familiar with, apparently, with the intro.
So I gotta ask, because this song has hilarious lines.
Yes, it does. It's very funny.
Do you have a favorite line out of this song?
I don't know that I would necessarily feel comfortable sharing them on a podcast that isn't like always aimed to be family friendly, but like my son is in like the next room asleep, so I don't know how awake he is.
You're fine, brother.
But I do think it's funny in the first verse. So she tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Still, she's on her knees. Like that had me hooked at the beginning. I was like, that's a really funny. I'm curious where else they're gonna go with this, and it does. It gets more explicit and graphic and so funny
and absurd.
Yes,
I love in the movie when the song plays and it dawns on Scotty that it's about him. And have you ever seen Euro Trip?
I haven't. No, I've never seen it.
It hasn't aged well, but I mean, it's a great film.
Most of those movies haven't.
Oh man, he's from SNL and Portlandia.
Oh,
Fred
Fred
Armisen
yeah.
plays a really creepy Italian traveler
who
steals every scene he's in.
Of course he does.
But this song...
It doesn't take anything for Fred Armisen to steal a scene. He's so funny. He's so good.
Well, unless it's What's Up With That, then it's Jason Sudeikis dancing.
Every time. Yeah, you're right.
But in the movie, this song follows them throughout Europe, and in every country, there's a country-specific language version of the song.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So wherever they go, the song follows Scotty, and they're all singing it by the end of the film. It is tremendous. Yeah, I can't say enough great about how awfully absurd and disgusting this song is.
Very absurd, quite disgusting, but also very funny. I did like it. I listened to it several times. Yeah, I guarantee it's going to pop up on my Spotify now.
And you're going to be singing it randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah, probably going to get in trouble too. But anyway. All right, my last track. My last track is The Great Escape by Boys Like Girls. First things first with this, the band name. I feel like this comes directly from a Good Charlotte song.
I would assume that as well. I don't know.
It seems like it because this was well after Good Charlotte's peak. But no, this is a good song, and mostly what it is for me is the delivery of the chorus. The way they sing "Throw It Away, Forget Yesterday," will make the great escape. Like it's another like really poppy song, and I think that that this song and Check Yes Juliet ended up on the same like playlist on that knockoff Pandora app that I was listening to, and so I heard them a lot, and they got to be things that I was really familiar with, but they're easy listens. They're really catchy. And this one has more of a build than Check Yes Juliet does, and that's something that I really like, is a song that can build up and then maintain it. And that's one of the things that this song does that I've always liked about it from the very beginning.
Yeah, this song's super catchy. Confession time. This would be the song I would pinpoint to being when I kind of fell out of love with pop punk because of how poppy this song is.
I could see that.
It took Newfound Glory's 2009 album to pull me back, but the first time I heard this song, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, this is garbage. This does not fit what I feel. Like, this is not for me. This genre's passed me by. I am now the old man shaking his fist at the clouds. Back in my day, pop punk used to be about this.
Had more of an edge. Because this is very rounded. Very rounded.
I mean, I can remember just from turning channels at the time on TV, like this was played a lot on MTV and on Fuse. And I mean, for that demographic at the time, this was a big song. So I can see why it's on this list. And I can look at it objectively outside of my dislike of it, that this is a super catchy song. The lyrics are really good. It just doesn't do it for me, but that's okay.
That's fine. Like I said, I despise the middle by Jimmy Eat World, yet here it was on this episode. And for me, and like I said, the thing that really drew me in, because I think this is just another one of those songs that kind of came on and it was kind of in the background until I hit the chorus. The delivery of the chorus is what brought me into this song and really made me enjoy it. It's like, oh, that's cool the way that they built for that. But
the chorus is excellent. I can't, I can give credit where credit is due. The chorus is fantastic, and the way it does soar is amazing. And that's why it was a hit. I think it was even a crossover hit, because I seem to recall us being in the car and flipping through radio stations before we had Sirius XM. This would be played on, like, for me locally, the pop stations.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see that. But I will say this, as far as Boys Like Girls go, I don't know I couldn't tell you any of their other songs, because this wasn't a song that was like so good that it brought me in to listen to the rest of their albums. But this was one that really stuck with me from the first few times I heard it. And like I said, chorus all the way was what did it for me. But let us know about some of your favorite one-hit wonders. How did we do with ours? Am I like way off with not liking The Middle by Jimmy Eat World? Or am I kind of like on par, because I feel like I'm pretty on par? But anyway, reach out to us on the Twitter machine. Reach us at Punk Popcast, or you can get to me directly at JoJo Corner. If you want to at me about Jimmy Eat World, that's fine. That's just fine. Jason, where are you on Twitter?
I am at XJasonDagX, and you can gladly at me about Boys Like Girls and The Greatest Hits. I don't care.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us again for another episode. We'll catch you next week.